Alright, hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to continue on down the path of looking at the new archetypes that have been presented in the UA. They're revolving around the psionics, as we can see here. Today we're going to be looking at the wizard, and the next video will be looking at the fighter. We already went over the rogue. Very cool. I have a lot of questions and a lot of concerns around that one, and how to improve it, and how to properly balance it, so to say. But I'm not going to get into that. Today we're looking at the wizard. So, our arcane tradition of psionics. The wizard studies magical power in all of its forms, including the magic of psionics. And those wizards who follow the tradition of psionics hone the magical potential of their own minds, sometimes called psionicists. I don't know if I'm saying that right, or mentalists. These wizards interact with the multiverse through the lens of their psionic aptitude and awareness. Psionicists channel their magic by focusing their minds. By doing so, they can transcend their physical bodies, adopting forms of pure thought, casting spells psionically to bypass the need for components and perceiving the world as a broader range of senses. As a member of the psionics tradition, you might have awoken your psionic potential through the strain of your esoteric studies. I believe that's correct. I don't know. Esoteric. Yeah, it must be. Or perhaps you've joined a secondary school dedicated to unlocking the magic of the mind. So again, very much akin to the rogue, where there's an introduction to how this character will fit within the world. Personally, within my own world, I think psionic wizards are going to be very rare and few in between. Mostly because I see schools of magics that are being taught by other wizards, or there's manuscripts and as such. They're passed down, and only to people that say the highest person of the transmutation order would feel that this person's proven themselves worthy, and blah 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 blah. And that's kind of how this would be viewed in my own world, maybe your own. But or maybe psionics are fucking everywhere, and these guys are the authority on it. They're the ones that control the day-to-day. They don't just control wizards, they control how the rogues use theirs, and they control how the fighters use theirs. And I kind of like that it opens up a lot of potential story building that can be had here. I love psionics. I love them. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and go to the Psionic Focus here. Second level psionic feature, you have learned to channel psionic energy through a special object, a psionic focus. You gain the object with this feature. See your psionic focus sidebar for how you might have acquired the item. While your psionic focus is on your person, you gain the following benefits. The object is a spellcasting focus for you. When you roll a psychic or force damage for any of your wizard spells, you can reroll any of those damage dice rolled as a 1, but must reuse the new roll. So, pretty straightforward. It's your new spellcasting focus for all of your spellcasting, which is awesome. And then as well, we get to reroll once on damage dice. So this is nice. It focuses on how this wizard is. They're not just like the rogue. Like the rogue, they have the psionic blade where if they roll a 1 on it, that's what they fucking get. But these guys, they focus and they have a better understanding of how the psionics work, and they're better able to manipulate it so that it yields more for them. I really like that. It shows a better level of understanding that the wizards probably have. If your psionic focus is lost, you can magically recreate it by meditating for 1 hour during a short or long rest, at the end of which the focus appears in your hand. Now, as for your psionic focus, every member of the psionic tradition has a story about how their psionic focus came to their life. Consider how you found yours and what form it takes. So pretty much this goes into how you achieved it, how it just came by you. At one point they mentioned, how does it come to you? Did it end up under your pillow at night, one day, and it was just there? Like, what does it look like? What is it like? It's a reflection of self. It's a reflection of who you are, and maybe, you can work with the dungeon master and decide what that would be, and maybe there's some bigger philosophical answer towards all of that, and maybe the psionic focus even changes how it appears to you and appears to other people. Maybe it's it's like a mood ring, I guess, so to say. It gives you maybe a hint towards something that you need to discover within yourself in order to better unlock all of these psionic abilities. And that's pretty much where I'll be leading any psionic wizards down that will be playing in my game, is that I'll be giving them little hints through their psionic, their little thing here. I think that's pretty cool, and adds an additional level, as opposed to it just being like, oh, this rock that I have, I cast my spell through it. No, this rock it's more significant than just that. It's literally a representation of my character and who I am. So yeah, the psionic focuses, I really like this. It's just a focus, but I think this is fucking awesome. I love it. Now, psionic devotion, as well as second level. Your study of psionics begins to unleash your mind's potential. When you gain this feature, choose one of the following cantrips: Friends, Mage Hands, or Message. You learn that cantrip if you don't already know it, and it doesn't count against the number of wizard cantrips that you know. While your psionic focus is on your person, you can cast the chosen cantrip as a bonus action requiring no components and with the modifications listed below. Okay, this shit gets whack. So Friends. When the spell ends, the target doesn't become hostile to you. That's really good. That's really, really good. There's no reason for you not to have friends up all the time. Everyone, it doesn't matter. We're good, you know? And friends is nuts. Like I'm fairly certain that it doesn't, they'll still know that use the spell, but they're not hostile. It's good. You know, I had a great encounter with you. I'm glad that you used that spell. So that's insanely powerful. This makes you you can be very charismatic with this. If you're looking, like, I could see a bard wanting to take a 2-level dip just for this friends increase, because holy shit, advantage on everything. God, that is beautiful. Okay, Mage Hand. You can make the Mage Hand invisible when you cast a spell, and controlling the spell is a bonus action for you. It's very much akin to how the Arcane Trickster works. I like this. It kind of, you don't need to play it up as an actual Mage Hand. You can play it up more as, because it is invisible, telekinesis. I mean, it is telekinesis. It literally is telekinesis. You're making something move that, anyways. But you can play it more akin to telekinesis as opposed to like something. I don't know why I'm trying to argue that it's not telekinesis in the first place, but we'll move on. Mage Hand, that's a good addition. Another one is Message. You don't need to point towards the target or whisper your message out loud. So essentially, Message becomes telepathy, and that's very powerful. It's just like how the rogue has their own once a day you can set this ability to whatever you want to enhance yourself. This you can just message, which is pretty impressive. Again, these classes, these archetypes, they focus on generic psionic abilities. I like this. There's obviously the more charming and charismatic and deceiving people through with our psionic abilities, making them want to like us. And then there's the telekinesis, and then there is the telepathy. So yeah, that's really cool. All of these little additions to our cantrips and like the choice that we get to make on who we are. I love this class so far. It is great, and we're only level 2. All right, so now coming up to level 6, thoughtform. God, okay. While you're carrying your psionic focus, you can use a bonus action to magically transform your body into pure psionic energy. The transformation lasts for 10 minutes until you use a bonus action to assume your normal form, or until you're incapacitated or die. Okay. While in thought form, you are a figure of luminous psychic energy with your psionic focus hovering within. Your form can appear as anything you wish, but it is obviously magical. Is the same size as you, and sheds dim light in a 5-foot radius. Any other equipment you're wearing or carrying transforms with you and melds into your thought form. You also gain the following benefits. This is fucking nuts, especially for a 6th level spell, but I like it. I really like it. So, our psionic spellcasting. When you cast a spell while in thought form, you can cast the spell psionically. If you do so, the spell doesn't require verbal, somatic, or material components that lack a gold cost. So, that's fine. And then psionic resilience is the big one. You gain resistance to psychic damage and to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical weapons. That is so cool. You can transform using this feature a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier, minimum of once, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So, while not as powerful as Barbarian Rage, where they take half damage from the bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, even from magical weapons, this is still pretty impressive. That's a lot of damage that you're going to be negating as a wizard that I don't think Abjuration wizards can do something akin to it where they can absorb an amount of damage. But with this is just up for 10 minutes. And with the Abjuration wizard, you have to be casting Abjuration spells and feeding into that shield again. This is just here. Like, this is impressive. I can see... Gosh, I could see almost... I think the Rune Fighter 14... Yeah, Rune Fighter 14, it's unfortunate that you missed the 15, but Rune Fighter 14 and level 6 with this, and you gain a 10-minute buff of taking half damage from psychic from 4 sources. That's pretty impressive. That's a worthwhile dip to a lot of different classes. God, that is so cool, and also the visual effect of you just taking on when I reference Celestial, I don't necessarily mean within Dungeons & Dragons. I mean, like, it reminds me of World of Warcraft. There's a boss in the Lich King expansion, Algalong, and he was literally just a star formation, and you can see the outline of his body, and that's kind of how I would visualize my own character, and I think that'd be a really cool little form to take as just like a star cluster, and we're made of star stuff, and God, I think this is really cool and a very beautiful class feature to be had. All right, now for the mental discipline. Before we do move on, I do want to say with the I just realized it is on the long rest. I think that's appropriate for the thought form to be on a long rest. Because it is a very powerful ability, so it makes sense. That's fine. I just had a little mind fart, I guess. Anyways, mental discipline. Your mind's power expands to greater heights. When you gain this feature, choose one of the following spells: Dominate Person, Scrying, or Telekinesis. You can add that spell to your spellbook, and you can cast it without components. You can cast the chosen spell once without expending a spell slot. After you do so, you regain the ability to cast a spell without a spell slot when you finish a long rest. So, it's pretty nice. I don't recall what the components were for all of these spells, but depending on what you're doing, maybe you're in a scrying heavy focus game. Not expending a spell slot right away is really nice, but not expending those components. I'm sure Telekinesis has probably a very expensive component in some place. Scrying and Dominate, they obviously all do at some point. But I think I would probably take Telekinesis just to fit into the thematic feel of all of this. Scrying is really cool. I mean, gosh, all of this is really cool. This is a nice little addition, nice little 10th level ability. We also get another 10th level ability, the Empowered Psionics. When you deal psychic or force damage with a wizard spell, you can add your intelligence modifier to the damage against one of the spell's targets. So, that's cool. We just add our intelligence modifier, we do more damage, we're becoming better with psychic damage, where we're showing off our ability to better understand ourselves with our psionic abilities and all these spells. But yeah, I really do like this. It's simple. It feels nice. I do like that we can cast Telekinesis or Dominate Person or whatever. It fits into whatever thematic feel you're looking for the psionic wizard to be. And I like that there's a trend that not only this is an archetype, but you can like archetype out into like there's sub-archetypes within the archetype. And, I'm going to be focusing on friends, I'm going to be focusing on Dominate Person. and I'm going to be very persuasive and controlling, a CC, a crowd controller type build, or I'm going to go ahead and focus on information gathering with scrying and message, and then telekinesis with mage hand and telekinesis. Like there's a nice little subsection of archetype within this class. But yeah, so thought travel. At 14th level, when you're using your thought form, your thought form. Sorry, mine went somewhere else. You have a flying speed equal to your walking speed and can hover, and you can move other creatures and objects, move through other creatures and objects if difficult terrain. You take 1d10 force damage. If you end your turn inside of an object, you return to your normal form. If you turn to your normal form inside of an object, you are shunted to the nearest occupied space and take 1d10 force damage for every 5 feet traveled. This is essentially the shadow form that the shadow what's it called? The shadow sorcerers get. You don't take reduced damage. I mean, like, you gain a flying speed, which is the most impressive thing here. So at 14th level, I really like this. I don't know necessarily off the top of my head if any other wizards gain a natural flying speed as their 14th level ability. I know sorcerers do. The draconic ones do. I can't remember what other ones. There must be another one. I might be losing my mind. But yeah, this is really cool. I really like that there's an innate built flying feature onto this thought form. It really shows an escalation of power. There's a lot of utility to be had in flying. I like that it's not like the 6th level, like you get flying at 6th level. That'd be insane. But yeah, this is fucking awesome. I love thought travel. Anyways, so that's it for all those little archetype features that we gain. Really, really cool. Now we're gonna go a little bit into the spells of psionics. Spell selection is part of what defines a wizard and their individual fields of expertise. When creating your psionic wizard, consider spells that are thematically appropriate for for that tradition. Psionics are, as a theme, generally includes the spells that do the following: contact or manipulate minds. Allow the caster to perceive distant locations or planes, alter perception, move objects or creatures, teleport, deal psychic or force damage. Here's a list of spells. I'm not going to go over all the spells, obviously, but anything, if you take a look in this, I'll link this in the description down below. Anything with the little star above here, I believe that those are being added onto along with these characters, because I know that Mind Sliver is one that's been in the UA for a little bit, and it's a pretty cool little ability. I would recommend taking Mind Sliver. It's really nice. But otherwise, I don't think that there's much else here. Yeah, there's just some new spells in general. The spell descriptions, I mean, we can go ahead and look at a few of these here. So, Ego Whip, 4th level enchantment. You lash the mind of one of your creatures you can see within range, filling it with despair. The target must succeed on an intelligence saving throw or suffer disadvantage on attack roll, ability checks, and saving throws, and it can't cast spells. At the end of each of its turns, the target can make another intelligence saving throw on a success. Holy shit, Ego Whip is insane. That will shut down casters and bosses and a lot of things. That is nuts. Okay, these spells are crazy. I'm not going to go over all of them. God, oh my god, there's new feats. There are new feats. Okay, so there's new feats. Telekinetic. You learn to move things with your mind. You gain the following benefits: increase your intelligence by 1 to a maximum of 20. Thank God, another intelligence score increase 1. They're quite lacking for at least diversity of what you'd want between keen mind and linguist. You learn, or observant, you learned Mage Hand Cantrip. You can cast it with verbal or somatic components, and you can make the spectral hand invisible. As a bonus action, you can try to shove one creature you can see within 5 feet of the spectral hand. Created by your Mage Hand spell. When you do so, the target must succeed on a strength or strength saving throw, DC 8 plus proficiency plus intelligence modifier, or be pushed 5 feet away from you. So that's a pretty neat feat. I know that this is probably not really what people are looking for right now, but I'm going to go into this. Telepathic. Your ability to communicate, gain proficiency with one skill of your choice from a list: deception, insight, intimidation, and persuasion. You can communicate telepathically with any creature you can see within 30 feet of you. Holy fucking balls, this is amazing. So they're going hard in investing into the psionics ability. I like that they're feats. I like that they're archetypes. I love the mage so far. The wizard. Yeah, if you get the chance to play this psionic wizard here, please let me know in the comments below and tell me what you think about this class. I'm very curious. I'm very curious if people think that this is broken or overpowered, or if it's not powerful enough. The main thing with the wizards to keep in mind with thinking about something being as overpowered or not, or underpowered, is that most of the wizards' cool shit comes from all their spells that they can learn. They can learn the most spells in the game naturally, but a lot of these additions here to the psionic class I think are absolutely beautiful and fantastic, and I think people will like them as well. And thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. If you could, it'd be lovely. But yeah, have a good one. Bye bye.